Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Summer, and in today's video we are doing a Lego set review. So it's been a long time since I did a video like this, and originally I was gonna do one before, but I pushed it off long enough to the point that I lost motivation to do it, and so I pretty much just didn't get around to doing it. But this one I really wanted to do it, because for this review we are taking a look at the new Lego Dark Knight trilogy sets. So Lego is releasing two sets on the Dark Knight trilogy, and this is the first one that they've released. This one is the Batmobile Tumbler Scarecrow Showdown set. This is the first one that they've released, and the next one they're going to release next month in November. But I wanted to review on this set because it looks really, really cool, and I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on it. So for this set, it comes in with two minifigures. We got Batman in his Batman Begins suit. We got Scarecrow with his mask. Yes, we also got a little head for Batman, and of course we got none other than the Tumbler. I really, really like this set. I think it's really, really cool, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush anymore. We're just gonna get straight to the point for this review video. So it's gonna work similar to how I did, to usually how I do my showcase, when I do my Lego showcases. Basically, we're going to review on the minifigures first, give thoughts and opinions on this one, and then we're gonna move on to the set itself with the vehicle and give thoughts and opinions on that. So without further ado, let's get started. So to start out with the minifigures, we have Batman in his Batman Begins armor, and I gotta say that this looks like a really, really cool figure. I really like it. So on this figure, as we can see, he's got the classic Batman cowl, and underneath he's got the Batman head, which I'd say he suits up pretty well for this particular design on the suit. So first up, we'll get the gadgets out of the way first. As we can see, he's got the classic Batarang, and he's got the grapple gun. Gun that he carries throughout the trilogy, which I'm kind of surprised. There's a couple of things I want to point out first. The grapple gun is really, really cool. I like it. The Batarang, I'm surprised they went with this kind of Batarang because I haven't gotten any of the newer sets, but I do know that they have a new design on the Batarang, which does look more accurate to the Dark Knight trilogy. So I'm kind of surprised that they went back to the old design of the Batarang. I'm kind of surprised that they went with that, but at the same time, I can see this kind of suits out for Batman. So let's go ahead and get these gadgets out of the way and focus more back onto the figure. We focus on that. Sorry, I'm not using my normal background for showcases, so this is a little bit lopsided. But anyways, with the rest of the figure, it's a pretty simple design. We got basic black minifigure legs, got some black arms and hands, and only printing on for this figure is the torso, which actually works well for this suit, because looking back at the movie, I noticed that there's not a whole lot of detail on the suit itself. It's mostly just a torso, so it makes sense. Why just give it basic black minifigure arms and legs. So not giving too much about that. But on the torso, so you see, we got some printing on the front, turning it over, got some on the back. And it looks really cool. I do like the sort of lighting effect that they got on with the belt, and the belts to represent the shiny gold. It looks really, really cool, and the printing on it is really nice. And it's with the torso. I remember they did this with the first tumbler set they did years ago, back in 2014, 2015. I don't exactly remember when the first one came out, but this is the same sort of minifigure that they did, but with some changes. But it's really, really cool. Removing the cowl. In the cowl a bit, which I will say suits very well for this figure. Underneath we get the classic Batman head, which again I haven't gotten any of the newer sets, but I do think that they updated the Batman head. But we got the classic Batman head for where got Bruce Wayne's face with a white headband on the top, and then in the back we get him with sort of this smirk he's got sort of going on. And on me personally, I feel that the front face definitely suits up more with that kind of Batman. Because whenever Batman was in this and had screen time, I don't think I ever saw him smile while he wore the suit. He did smile a bit as Bruce Wayne, but that's sort of to represent the different kind of designs. And I do remember with the first Batman set and the first Tumbler set, they actually did a whole separate Bruce Wayne face design for this particular character. And I kind of wish that they had brought it back for this figure for this set, but I don't think they're making those heads anymore. So I can kind of see why they would go back to sort of the classic Batman head, head, like this side it works pretty well, but on the other side, yeah, just that smirk and just sort of like that smile. I feel like that doesn't really suit well. Unless you're doing for like Bruce Wayne, which, but with a headband, I don't see that being possible. Removing the head and like the head for 1 second. This is still on because I got the set yesterday, so it's still pretty fresh. It's removing it on. And another sort of like criteria that I would give for that I don't really like about this figure is the cape. The cape, it's much better now, but yesterday it was a pain. It was a pain. So they have a new cape design. So this one is now a single like whole piece instead of like two connecting together. And I think it was because it was to sort of like make it easier for people to like put the cape on, and sort of like get rid of sort of like that triangular kind of shape that was going on with the back. But however, with that cape, it worked because it was more stable. The biggest complaint that I would give about this one is that it's very flimsy. Like yesterday, it was super flimsy, and like bringing it up and down. And it was worse that I recently got like some of the Marvel CMF minifigures, and specifically like with White Vision, and that minifigure had the same problem. Like the cape was so flimsy, I couldn't like keep it in place. And because of like the soft fabric material, it's a bit thick. Yeah, thick. I don't mind the material. I think the material works great. It's like a cool. It's a cool like design material and everything. And it sort of like matches up of how like with this particular character, he's got like the memory cloth, like it is soft. It's soft, lightweight fabrics. But when putting it on for a figure and wanting to like, if you wanted it to like stay in place, I could see like getting annoying of it not staying in directly of it and being like super flimsy. Getting off of it so we can get a better look at the torso. You can see like how it looks like without, like without the cape, and again, it looks really, really cool. I do like it. But anyways, the cape would sort of like be my biggest takeaway with it. It's like not a huge fan of it, but pushing it out of the way, I can always use like a different cape. And one more thing before we wrap up on this figure, this figure also comes in with the second head, specifically like the nightmare hallucination that Scarecrow has in the movie, which I think is a pretty cool like a little addition to it. The face, I know it's supposed to represent a demon, but sort of like with the extra eyes, it almost looks like a spider. A spider, kind of like a humanoid spider. And then like when putting on the cowl, we get like separate eyes to sort of like represent of like where the cowl lenses would be. Which off it looks like a spider, but with the cowl on, it does look like the nightmare hallucination demon that they were going for, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So overall, apart from the cape, and wish that it would like change at the head, I'd still say that this is pretty cool. This is like a pretty cool Batman minifigure, and it's nice that they return back with like the original like suit design for this figure, and actually have two different Batman minifigures. But we'll talk about the other minifigure once the next set comes out. So, anyways, let's continue on with the next minifigure. For the last minifigure that we have in this set is, of course, Scarecrow, and I gotta say that this is a pretty cool design of how they went with this minifigure. So similar to Batman, we got like a simple design, like we got his simple like gray suit, with printing mainly on the torso. Also, like you got a front, and we also got the back, and same thing with printing on the head. So with the headpiece, I love that they went like with his masks design. Went with like his mask design like for Scarecrow, and we can actually see like continue on to the torso because we see sort of like like the rope and sort of like it's almost like a noose, but sort of like the rope that he's got tying it around his neck. And we can see like a little bit of the cloth sticking out underneath that. I like that attention to detail as it sort of shows sort of like the baggy sort of mask that Scarecrow has in the movies. And we can see that like the rope continues onto the back. It's same thing, and then like fabric sticking out of it. It looks really, really cool. I also got a little bit of detailing with the suit, like showing off at the back, and the back looks really nice. And nice, got like plain like gray arms and legs, which again makes pretty sense. And pretty much makes sense as sort of like the suit is like a pretty simple design, overall, and got like just regular like flesh colored hands on the head. We see like some more like detailing going on there, so we can see like see sort of like the eyes underneath Scarecrow, Scarecrow's mask, or his mask, sort of like wrinkles going around and around the mask, which is like a nice detail. The stitched up mouth that he's gotten, and on the back, I always forget that there's more to go on with the back, but the back it's got even more detailing. So we could sort of see like the belt clips, and clips, the scrunching up on sort of like the fabric getting compressed in the back, some more wrinkles, and even like some stitches, like some sort of stitch marks all the way around this, which looks really, really nice and sort of adds to like the detailing design that they went with the movie, which I think looks really cool. And it's also, so finally he's got a stud launching blaster, which is supposed to represent like the fear gas, that like he would inject like with his victims and stuff. He never carried something like this in the movie. Well, I guess if you would count it as like the little syringe, like the little syringes, which I think would have made a bit more sense for Scarecrow of like actually injecting it into the guys. But at the same time, I can imagine that this approach was like went with it, because he does also release like his toxin as like a gas like coming out like out of his sleeves and whatnot. So I can see why they went with this to represent the gas like being like launched and fired like at the launched like people like just as he did in the movie. I almost wish that they had a separate head, like for Batman, like almost a separate head where we see like Jonathan Crane underneath. But I'm glad, but at the same time, I'm glad that they didn't, because again, with the printing, like how they did it, like on the front and back, it would look kind of weird to sort of see like those separate prints, and sort of like, I don't know, just sort of like the different designs. So sort of like it would look kind of weird, weird of having like a regular face and then like on the torso we see the rope and stuff, the rope and whatnot. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't move with that. But at the same time, it'd be kind of cool to see like a Jonathan Crane head for that. Overall, I'd say that this is pretty cool. This is like a pretty cool design in a minifigure. Like same thing with Batman, like simple yet pretty cool and pretty cool. Like it still captures the overall design for Scarecrow. And I will say that I do like sort of like the trilogy's attempt like the design as Scarecrow. Well, I love the designs for all the characters, because all of them are unique and slightly different from how we would usually see each of these characters, but at the same time it does sort of like capture the overall design of the original comic book characters they're based off of. So I'd say this is a pretty cool figure. Again, could probably do without the stud blaster, but at the same time, I can see like why Lego went with this route. So overall, it's still pretty cool. Now, let's move on to the rest of the sets and get ready to wrap the video up. And last up for this set is, of course, the tumbler itself. And I gotta say that this is a really, really cool design. I love that they brought this back in a brand new design and everything, and into a much more proper tumbler. I remember like back in 2011 or 2012, Lego did a special like exclusive set on The Dark Knight Rises, but it made me so mad because in that one it had a tumbler, but it was classified as a Bane tumbler, as it was supposed to represent like Bane taking over like Wayne Enterprise and getting like the tumblers and everything, and it made me so mad because it wasn't like the proper tumbler, like it was very small, not quite as like armored looking as like this one, and also it wasn't in black. I had almost thought about like buying it and just painting it black, but I didn't. But I wound up not going ahead with that idea, and now that set is retired. But I'm glad that I didn't, because this one looks so much cooler, and is a really, really nice design. For this one, and as we can see, it does come in black. It's really cool. So as I was saying, like coming in like the nice design. Like when looking at it at the front, at the front angle and at the sides, apart from like these top bits, because they kind of stand out a bit more, this still is a really cool design, and it does match up a bit with like how it is in the movies. We got some sticker printing, like we got this one on the front, also got one like on the side, the sides of the wheels, but these ones, I think these are supposed to represent like maybe like explosives. I'd have to watch the movies again to like remember like what these were, or maybe these just are like just like the gas tanks tanks to like put them in. But with the overall design of it, as we can see, like it's got some pretty cool movements. It's got some stud launchers like on the front, still sort of like represents when it's in weapon, when it's in like in weapon mode, and it can fire its bullets. The wheels, they move on very nicely. Very nicely. Like we got 2 small wheels in the front, and then we got like these 2 giant wheels like in the back, and it looks really nice. We also got like this exhaust port for like when the flame would come out when you would like drive it up and then jump off a ramp. And we've also got like these folding pieces, that I'm pretty sure were supposed to represent like the wing, like the wing mode for where like as they get ready to jump a bridgeless ramp. We like fold these things up. We can't fold this out, but this piece would come undone enough to put it back in. But we can like fold this up, fold it around a little bit, and then boom, it'd go flying off, and it looks really. And I always love that scene. I just like to see the whole movies, all the movies in general. I really love. But we got some good, movement around with the wheels. Looks very good, And I like the additional pieces that like these window pieces. These are 3 of them, so we got like one. I got 2 on the sides and then 1 in the front, and these sort of like these black pieces represent sort of like the different windows that each of them have. I do like that. I like that design. And now moving this up, and hopefully we can get a good angle on with the camera. But we got some more stuff going on inside. So on this side, we got like in here the cop piece, the cop piece, and then like inside here and here. Again, I don't know how well this would look. This is where I might have to move the camera a bit, but you can see that like there's some printing like going on here, representing sort of like, or like the Batmobile, like on the inside. So bring that in a little closer. Sorry, I have to like, I'm holding this in at the same time and I have to move it on. I'm debating of getting a tripod. For stuff like this, because this is a pain in the ass. Yes, but we got some more printing like on the inside to represent sort of like the computer here, like in the contents. Set that back down. And what's pretty cool is that like unlike the last unlike the last like miniature tumbler that they did, this one comes in with two seats. So say for instance, like we put a Batman in here, and Batman in here, we can like insert him into the seat. Get like in and kind of like in position, all this up, and then you like go off. Or if you want to replicate that scene for where he was saving Rachel, you could put another minifigure in the cockpit, and then boom, go chasing off into the city, and look really awesome doing it. And overall, I'd say that this is a very, very cool Batmobile. Like these pieces, they do stick out a little bit more, but at the same time, but while building this, it makes sense of why they do, because some of the parts of it they had to stand out a little bit more. Apart from that, it looks very, very awesome, and I love like how it looks and everything, and think of how it's accurate to how it appears in the movies, while at the same time showing what it would look like in Lego formats. And the next set, like tumbler sets that they're gonna release like also is much more accurate to it, while also showing it in Lego. So I can't wait to review on that set. But overall, that is pretty much going to be it. So we'll get the rest of the figures out and put in like final thoughts and conclusions on the set overall. So to give overall final thoughts about the sets, I'd still wish that they change up a little bit with like mostly like with the Batman minifigure itself. Like I still wish that I'm not used to like the new cape design. I'll probably get used to it in the future, and I still wish that they had gone with like the previous Batman head that they had beforehand. But aside from that, I'd say this is still a pretty cool set. Like, I like the minifigure choices that they gave for this. I like the alternate heads that you can give for Batman to sort of like match up with the scene, with that one scene in the movie. Where he interrogates Scarecrow for the first time. Well, not the first time, it's more of like the second time with their encounter. And the Batmobile design itself, I love that they kept it in concept of the tumbler, like how it is in the movies, but changed up a little bit, that it's not directly the same of how they did the tumbler the first time. I love that it's a new design. It's much bigger. You can put a second minifigure in if you want it, and overall, this is a really cool set. And if you're thinking about getting it, I recommend picking this set up. And it's at a pretty good price too. It's like $39.99 in US dollars. So it's pretty good. And so it's a pretty good price for like this kind of set. And overall, that's gonna do it for like this review video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. enjoyed this video. I often really don't do review videos that much. Mostly like whenever I do reviews and like stuff like this, it's usually like towards the end. And the closest thing that I really do for like review would be like when playing a video game and after completing the series. But if you guys want to see like more like these kinds of videos on the channel, feel free to let me know like in the comments below, and feel free to like and to share like your thoughts and opinions about like the set overall. So I do plan to do at least one more set review video that I do have planned. That one is not going to be until later next month. When they release the second Tumbler set. I can't wait to get that one and start building on that one because it's more massive, and it looks really, really cool. So I'm super excited for that one. And that is going to be it. And that's pretty much going to be it. So I'm going to be going back to like the showcases, and I'm still waiting to like hear stuff like on the computer, for like the computer. So gameplays are still on hold, unfortunately. But I do plan that as soon as it comes back in, I do plan to get started on gameplays immediately. But I'm gonna go back to customizing for some future projects, and overall that'll be it. So thank you all so much for sticking around for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Bye.